What's going on YouTube? Steven, the Salon Guy here, and in today's video, we're going to be making over this mannequin and creating what I'm going to call the perfect blended layered haircut, meaning I'm not going to cut it super short, it's not going to be super long, but I'm going to create a beautiful flowing layered haircut. It may be kind of like an 80s layered haircut or something, but I focus so many of my haircuts on, with women's haircuts when it comes to layering, but maybe you're a guy who wants to grow his hair longer, it's just not laying right. And this video is going to be great for, whether you're a barber, wanting to learn more about men's haircutting, great for a stylist, somebody in school, or if you're a client, just, trying to understand a haircut of how it could work properly for you. So I'm gonna wash this head and we'll be right back to get started. So before we start this haircut, I also want to let you guys know that I do have haircutting combs now that I am selling that are available on my website. I basically have been spending a lot of money on my combs over the years, and I said, you know what, this is way too ridiculous. I want to find something that I can actually sell, that I use, that is like a lot cheaper. So basically these are plastic, but they're a higher quality plastic. They're not garbage, and I have them in two colors because if you have maybe lighter hair and you want some contrast also to kind of match my brand color of the red, and white. And the white ones work great, especially if you're working on darker hair. As you can see, it just allows for a better contrast. So they are available. You can see by the card here that I'm posting up top. Also, you can check it out in my description at the end of the video. I do have them on sale right now, and it's free shipping. So definitely take advantage of the offer and check these out. The first thing that I suggest is to find the natural parting. If you're unsure of where the natural parting is or not sure how to do it, what I like to do is line the comb up right on the top of the nose here and just draw like you're drawing a line straight back, right on the top of the head, like so. And once you do that, you can then split it into 4 quadrants. And what I mean by 4 quadrants is we're separating the entire head to make it easy. So basically finding the top of the head, all right, which is right here, you lay the comb flat on the head, and wherever it lays flat is where the top of the head is, where it's the flattest. So usually that's right around this area, which is right behind the ear. And these 4 quadrants, what it's simply doing, it's nothing complicated, it's just separating the front from the back. And again, this is what we call the division point. So if you are in beauty school right now, you're probably going to be hearing that word, or those words, division point. But it's literally just dividing, okay? It's dividing the front and the back, because what you do need to realize is that this is treated completely differently than the back when it comes to the haircut, all right? And that's really the only thing. It's very, very helpful, to be honest with you, because all you're doing is just separating it. And while you're cutting, I am going to tell you it's extremely helpful to have a clear vision of where you're cutting. So what I like to do, now, not every guy is going to have their hair as long as this coming into you, but it's better to be prepared and knowledgeable than not, right? So what I like to do is basically you can hold this up out of the way, and you can clip it out of the way. You can really do whatever you want. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to establish the length, and all I'm doing is laying my comb straight down, and I'm going to cut straight across. That's it. Flip around on the other side and cut straight across. And basically, folks, we have our base. Right through here, we have our base. Next thing what I'm going to do is I'm going to bring this down again and do the same thing throughout the entire back of the head, right? Make it very, very simple. There's the guide from underneath and cut straight across. Flip the scissors around and cut straight across. Bring this all down. Before you know it, the entire haircut is going to be, halfway done. Combing this all straight. Again, you can use your fingers if you want to kind of lock it in, but sometimes when you cut the hair with no tension, that's when it's actually the straightest. Okay, when you cut the hair with no tension whatsoever. If you want to use the comb like so, you can, almost like as a ruler, to cut straight across like that. But a lot of times if you do end up using the comb or your fingers, it will start to create some sort of elevated shape or something. So now we're going to work up into the sides and through the top to create, again, we're creating our foundation. So always make sure the head is straight. And now, the finger positioning really will dictate the angle. So the more you point your fingers up, the more of an angle you're going to create, like so, by rotating. The more you keep your fingers straight down like this, that's going to prevent an angle this way, and it's going to be a lot more straight. So what I want to do, and I'm using the fine teeth of the comb here because I do want to have this nice and solid here, is I'm going to extend my fingers or angle my fingers up pretty significantly because I do want to create a bit of an angle coming up right in through here. Okay? Move any hair out of the way that actually is going to be in the way of cutting, and I'm sorry if I got it in the way right there, but here we go. We're going to cut downwards this way, and here in the very, very, very front, again, this really depends on how short you want it, but here's the length that I'm doing, which is right about the bridge of the nose right here, and we're cutting this all on an angle going back down like this. So if you can see here, we've created a perfectly angled shape going down through here. Now we're going to do the same thing on the other side, right? Now I haven't moved at all. I'm staying in the same position, my body position, and that's essential too. You don't have to be jumping around doing acrobat moves, you know, or hanging from the ceiling. I mean, you can literally just stay in one spot to do this entire haircut, you know, which goes to show, you know, how a lot of people out there are doing all these freakish handstands to cut hair. You don't have to do that. You know, you can literally stand in one spot, keep your body in a good position, and not hurt yourself. All right, so there we are. We've done the other side. What I like to do is just stand in front, do a little check right here to make sure we're balanced, make sure we're even Steven. Unfortunately, right now we're uneven Steven. I have to cut this side a little bit shorter, but that's the whole point of, you know, not everybody's perfect. If you get it in one shot, then good for you. Now let's see what we got here. Okay, look at this. If you look at this, you could almost say, wow, this is actually a good haircut. Any guy can leave. I mean, even a woman can leave. Anyone can leave with a haircut like this. That's why the base is so important. What would happen if we didn't layer this and we didn't create any sort of movement? Well, that's the thing. It wouldn't have a lot of movement. You know, will it look good? The only reason it will look good is because we got this shorter and we got some flow in through here. But the problem is that it's not, you know, it's not going to have a lot of movement up and through here. It may be very, very heavy. So again, will it work? Sure, it'll work. Is it something that you want? I don't know. In my experience, I've noticed sometimes people complain about their hair being too heavy, right, and not having a lot of movement. But there are guys who, you know, don't want a lot of movement. So it really depends. All right, so now let's create some layers, and we'll do kind of a medium length layer in through here. Now the key is with layers, which is really, really important. Wherever you hold this up, right, if I cut it right here, it's going to fall into the back. So you got to, and you also don't want to cut it shorter than the front piece right in through here as well, right? So we've got this right in through here, and then all this. And this has to connect into here. So you don't want to go too short, and you don't want to go super long. So a good in-between balance would be about right here, right? Which is, I'd say about 7 inches or so, 6 or 7 inches, right into the top here. And that first piece in the back, that is where I'm starting the layers. So I'm going to take a horizontal section right here, and this is how I'm doing the entire back of the head. We're going to comb this all straight up to match. Again, I'm using the fine teeth of the comb. There's my guide. I'm going to cut straight across, as you can see right in through here. So this is what it looks like from the front. Right? There it is. So I'm going to let that drop down. I'm going to take a section here on the other side in the back. Again, combing it straight up. And there's my guide, keeping the arm as parallel as you possibly can in through here. And then there we have it. So once we have that done, we're going to comb this all down, and now we're going to actually create some blending. So when we cut that piece, here's where the layers are going to start, right around here. And we're now going to comb this straight out from the head. There's the guide right there. There's where we're going to cut, and we're going to extend this all the way down to the bottom. The reason I'm going to extend this all the way down to the bottom is because I want to have a little bit more movement down through here. So a lot of times people talk about, oh, the hair flips a lot, the hair moves. If you don't want the hair to flip at all, and you don't want to have those pieces kind of flipping out or showing those layers, then definitely either don't layer it at all, or you want to keep that first layer that you cut a lot longer, almost like you're just, skimming the top, because again, this will travel all the way down through here, creating that weight. So for this haircut, I do want to create some movement, all right? So here we go, once again, combing this straight out. And all we're doing now is just connecting, right? We're simply just connecting the dots and putting everything together with the layers to make sure the entire back has some movement to it. So once we get right here behind the division point, as you can see, I'm combing this all straight back, behind the ear, this way. I'm not extending my body outwards beyond that, because I want to maintain the weight in through here, which I'll remove when we get in through here. Right? You're going to thank me later, trust me. All right, so now we're going to pick back up to do the other side, and there's the guide, and we're going to cut straight down. You can pick up a piece from the other side if you want, but make sure that you go all the way down to the very, very bottom. You're not cutting the length here because that's already established. You're just basically cutting what's on top of it. All right, there's the guide there. And the thing with men's haircutting, or even just haircutting in general, once you get the pattern down, and once you understand what you're doing and you don't complicate it, all right, there's a lot of haircutters out there who make this almost impossible to understand, with degrees of elevation, with different body position, with different this, with different that, with 18 different sections, 45 different clips. For me, that's cool if you want to do that and put on a great show. That's awesome. But a lot of times those haircuts look good for about 10 minutes, right? But when you have all those crazy disconnects and all these pieces that are separated and this and that, the hair doesn't grow out super well. It grows out with like gaps in it, grows out with holes in it, grows out with the haircut being unbalanced. The way I cut hair, and again, I'm not saying to be the best, and I'm not discrediting anyone's abilities to cut hair in a very systematic way. I just feel that with my experience, I like to cut hair as simplistic as possible, so it'll grow out good, it'll be effective, I'll be able to get the job done efficiently, and it'll also be very, very well balanced. That's how I want to cut hair, all right? So as you can see, I'm keeping everything very, very simple. Now, even though it looks simple, you can still, mess this up. And that's why this method of me cutting helps simplify everything. All right, so now what I'm doing is I'm cross-checking by combing everything straight out horizontally. And all I'm doing is going throughout the back, and I'm skimming off any pieces that may be a little unbalanced. When I say unbalanced, it's my way of saying longer, And again, I've basically been in the same spot for like the entire haircut. All right, I have barely moved my body. I do have to be careful in certain angles that I go in because of my back injury, and my neck. But even though if I didn't have that, I'd still be able to stand in one spot. So now what we're going to do is we're going to connect this part. This is something that I do in literally every haircutting video that I do. It's very, very essential, this part right in through here, and very simple. The best way to do it is just think that you're doing a mohawk section right down the middle, right down the middle. That's the focus. That's where you're going to connect everything. because later at some point, you're gonna do the corners and the sides. All right, now that's done. It's time to cut the top. Again, we're in the middle, but we're gonna cut the top horizontally now, because we've already moved on from the past. We're looking ahead to the future, and we're gonna cut everything straight up. What's gonna happen is, as we get to the very, very front, like this area, you're gonna see there's not a lot of hair to be cut, honestly, because that is why, when we blended everything throughout the foundation, it was all basically pretty balanced, which was very, very important. So that's what I'm saying, a good foundation is important. All right, so the top is done, now we've got the corners and the sides. If you break the hair cutting down that easily and that simplistically, it's going to be a lifesaver, okay? There's the corner, and we're gonna bring it straight out. And there, we actually see some hair there that needs to come off because we haven't really done any layering. And what this is going to do, I mentioned in the beginning of this haircut that this is, a perfectly blended, layered haircut. What does that mean? It means the entire haircut is flowing in itself. It's got a seamless flow. It's all completely connected, and it's perfectly balanced. That's really what that means. So we're doing the corners and then the sides. The sides are down and through here. That's how I classify haircuts: tops, corners, sides, and then the back. Following this pattern will make life very, very easy. So sometimes people will have finer hair, and what you need to be careful is to prevent from creating any huge gaps or holes or anything. You may want to take a thicker section, right? A thicker section to kind of make it a bit more dense. This way you can see all that weight and not get rid of it by accident. All right? What's important with the sides down through here is that you do extend the haircut all the way down through the bottom here, right? If you leave these pieces disconnected from the layers, again, it's not going to grow out how you want it to. In some situations, like I said, and some hair cutters like to do these things to leave pieces out for whatever it is, but again, that's usually temporary. And a lot of times I've noticed in my experience seeing these guys do this stuff or seeing these stylists do it, it's because they're trying to create a specific look or an effect at that very moment. And it works for a short amount of time, but then the grow up process isn't always the best. All right, so once again, guys, if you're seeing, I'm literally in the same spot, right? I'm not standing on my head. I'm not hanging from the ceiling. I'm not doing jumping jacks. I'm literally just standing in the same exact spot that I've been in pretty much throughout the entire haircut, which goes to prove something, that posture is everything. Body position is everything. All right, so once again, we're just connecting the layers. Now here we are on the very, very front. And I'm combing back now on top of the section. Here we go. Just that little bit right there. This haircut literally can be done, if I wasn't talking, I could have this haircut done in I'd say about 20 minutes, right? 20 minutes if I didn't talk at all. My thing is I'm a big talker, so I like to communicate, and also because I'm teaching a darn video. So this part here, what we're doing is we're just gonna snip that little bit. This is to make sure that the entire top is perfectly blended. Again, we're going for perfect layers, and anything that you may see, it's a little bit longer. This is your chance to get rid of it and to make sure it's all even. And this is where it's going to jump out at you. This is where the hair will start talking to you. Say, hey dude, you missed this section over here, right? This is the ideal time to do it. Also, this is why this comb comes in handy, because it's a white color and you can actually see, the hair a little better while you're combing it, right? It gives a little more contrast. All right, so let's take a look what we got. Let's bring the mannequin head up a little bit. And what I like to do is I'm going to run my fingers through the hair like this and just double check everything. Let's bring it this way. Again, I'm looking for even Steven here. All right, I think I'm a little longer on this side here. So if you are a little longer on one side, all you gotta do is go back in and simply start to search throughout the haircut of what happened. Okay, there it is right there. I didn't take this far back enough into the side of the corner. And this is where I was feeling the length of being a little bit longer. Okay, so right there. And let's check this here. All right, just a little bit, not much. But you have to feel for the areas, right? Feel for the areas that are longer, or like I said, the hair will basically, it'll be very obvious. If you're pulling hair and it's a lot longer on one side, go back to that area and fix it. With hair cutting, once you're able to figure out how to fix a problem, then that's really the difference between being, you know, a really, really good hair cutter and kind of a mediocre. All right. If you're a client watching this and you're one of those dudes who basically likes to let their hair air dry, who wants to just, you know, not be bothered by it, you got that perfect hair, it just flows right into place. You can spray maybe some 25 spray of mine into it. You can, you know, and then just let it air dry. You know, if your hair is a bit wavy, anytime you let the hair air dry, it will form with a little bit more curl, right? As you can see through here. What do layers do? All this stuff that I layered, it will actually enhance the wave or enhance the curl, because now you've got rid of all that weight in through here, which is allowing the hair to move. As I mentioned before, if you don't have any layers, this will all lay flat like this, and the hair will just be flat to the head. That's it. Layers will actually create some movement. So now we can apply any sort of, I'm actually testing out a new blow dry cream that I've been working on for the last month or two, and I'm going to run this through the hair, and we're going to blow dry this, and I want to show you a few different techniques of what you can do. But as you can see through here, the more we kind of scrunch this, it's automatically bringing out the wave. And a lot of you guys want to know, you know, how do I get my hair to look wavy, or how do I get to have some texture to it? Well, setting it with something like this, you know, kind of set it and forget it. Let it air dry, and it'll dry with some texture and some wave to it. Now, if you don't want to have any wave to it, and you want the hair to be a little more on the smoother and more tame side, I'm going to use just my hands for this. The key is, when you blow dry hair like this, you do not want to shake it and rattle it up like this. A lot of times people dry their hair, they're going all over the place. All you're doing is creating a hot mess. A frizz ball, you're creating a mess. You don't want to do that. You want to actually tame the hair like this, and almost like you're kind of lightly pulling on the hair, and you're smoothing it with your hands, right? So let's check it out. All right, let's talk about the style now. And as you can see, I mean, this looks pretty good no matter what, you know? All because of the way we cut it, right? So let's talk about if you want to have your hair all coming down forward. Okay, there's going to be some guys out there that want kind of like a haircut like this, where it just falls a little bit in the face, and you just kind of have some hair coming down like that. Looks kind of really, really cool. All right, there's one look right there, all right? Another look is if you want to have that kind of really feathered, layered look, where it's all going back, showing off the layers. Let's turn the mannequin this way. Everything is going back, and it's all working in to the bottom and through here. So again, a very, very nice, beautifully executed haircut down and through here, and it all flows down to the bottom, right? Same thing on the other side. Good side angle and through here. It all flows back, works into the shape down and through here, and there we have it. It really depends on how you want to wear it, right? You want to go over to the side this way, all right? You can do a side parting, total side parting like that. You can flip it around, you know, on the other side. If you want to do a side parting on this way, if you want to get, you know, a little more volume into the front here, right, like that, you can do that. You can go right down the middle, kind of like how we cut it, and have like, almost like a feathered haircut coming down like this, you know, which is also really, really cool. I mean, you really can do a lot with it. With a good haircut, you really have a lot of options. All right, guys, thank you so much for watching. And again, please check out my haircutting combs that are now for sale. A link is in the description of where you can get them, basically on my website. And I'm doing a sale right now. So if you are looking for, you know, a professional type tool to comb your hair, this is what I use, okay? So thank you guys so much for watching. Let me know in the comments below if you enjoyed this video. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Click the bell, and I'll see you next time for more videos with The Salon Guy.